Yeah.
Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the Supreme Team.
Yes.
That's Ron the Supreme. I am the Prolific.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Supreme Team Show.
Indeed. And this is our special Oscars report because it's about our culture and it was a very important night and things kind of went off track.
Super important to where only our second black man was nominated or was going to win.
Yes.
Best actor.
Yes.
Denzel won.
Yes.
Many years ago. Well, several years ago. I don't want to say many.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really particularly care for the fact that he won for the role he was playing when he's played so many great roles.
You're talking about Will Smith, yeah.
No. Denzel.
Oh, you're talking about when Denzel won. Okay.
I mean, playing a cop who on drugs and thieving and all of that, and all the roles he's played
that's
were
a narrative.
worthy.
That's a narrative. See, that's the thing. I'm glad you said this because that's the narrative. Before we were talking about how the Oscars were acknowledging the roles where we played like
Nannies
villains. No, but like just situations where it wasn't something that was
wasn't positive.
It wasn't. Yeah, it didn't have integrity, and it wasn't noble. Like
how many roles
we didn't win for noble roles, and then and see, we did that for entertainment's sake, but then.
They
recognized
Halle Berry a Best Actress award for playing a whore.
Yeah.
And then they gave Denzel the Best Actor
and
award.
ignored it for X, a man of nobility. But movie, here's the thing.
X. Oh.
That night, this incident, we did it to ourselves.
Oh, I know.
We did it to ourselves by the way we acted out. We played right into their hands and we acted out in a way that just reinforced those Oscars, those Oscars they acknowledged us for. It reinforced that, and that's what was disappointing. Denzel won for playing Alonzo in the movie. What's the movie?
Training Day.
Training Day. Okay, and not for Malcolm X. And then Halle Berry wins for that role where she's playing somebody's struggling
sex symbol.
Yeah, like a sex.
Sex
a
worker.
person who's
or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't a sex worker. It's just that she was a person
very
who was
sexual.
living a really hard life.
Right, hard
life. She got acknowledged for that. And she got famous for that moment.
When she's had better roles as well.
Exactly. So then now, here we are. Will Smith is on the verge of winning an Oscar for a noble father, a father who did something great for, and then we acted out in our emotions and we reinforced for the entertainment of the establishment. We did that. We showed our weakest points.
Was it planned?
No, it was not planned.
Okay.
I just watched a body language expert, and he said none of this was planned, and he could tell in the body language of how Jada reacted, how Will reacted, and how Chris Rock reacted. But in all of this crazy soup of what's happening to us in our culture and how we acted out and played into their hands of what they expect and think of us, which is disappointing. Has anybody prayed for Will Smith? Has anybody prayed for Jada Pinkett? Because it's just like, we need to pray for our people. That's the strength of our people is prayer. You know what I mean? And that we played into the hands of our oppressors and what they think of us. No matter how high we rise, we're still that person that they believe we are. Violent animals, in the sense that when you look at all the crimes,
not being able to be controlled.
That's right.
We don't have self-control.
Yeah, when you look at the police incidents on the street where we were unjustly murdered, it was because of their fear. The fear of what we would do. And then we just played into the hand of that violence that they fear from us.
Right.
It was black on black.
Whether intentional or not, it happened.
That's right. Yeah. So it's just like, did Will Smith have to single out not Will Smith. Did Chris Rock have to single them out in his jokes on his special night?
He didn't have to.
Did Will Smith have to act out like that? No, he didn't have to.
Both are at fault.
Would Will Smith had smacked Jerry Seinfeld or Jim Carrey
absolutely not.
or
The Rock?
Yeah, or any other Billy Crystal, who was the former host, would he have done that? No, he would have not. So we look at all these factors on how we conduct ourselves as as a community, as a black community, how we conduct ourselves, are we able to behave ourselves on the biggest stage of the establishment of our oppressors? We failed that test. And now I have to offer, because everybody else is talking about it, I have to offer it in a way that nobody else is offering it. And we have to do it. We have to do the intangibles. We have to do it from the zodiac perspective, the astrology perspective, personality-wise, not horoscope-wise. Like what we're not going to talk about what Will Smith's horoscope was that night. We're talking about the chemistry dynamics in astrology.
Overall.
Yeah, overall, the dynamics in the relationship that is causing this, because it's sad the pressure that Will Smith has gone through,
over the last few years.
Yeah, just to please his wife, who must at all costs protect her liberty. Why is she so liberal? It can be seen in her astrological signs. Why liberty and her freedom is more important than the integrity of her marriage. That's the thing. Like, where's the integrity in this marriage? Will Smith tries to be a man of integrity. He tries to project himself as a man of integrity.
Yeah, that was part of this.
Yeah, and that was part of it. And like, she has no regards for integrity.
She actually laughed when he smacked Chris. If you saw the video,
yeah, she
was laughing.
She felt pleased by his, and it's just like it's really, the dynamics are really sad that it has to play out in the public eye. You know what I mean? And that she's thriving off of the creating attention by the privacy of her family. She's at the cost of the privacy of her family. She's
putting it all out there.
Yeah, putting it all out there
on that red table talk.
Yeah, and so then when a comedian uses that as material, when you offered it,
how can you blame?
Yeah,
them?
exactly. You're the one putting it out there. You have alopecia and all that, and look. And she looks beautiful with
I
her
would
bald.
have never, right.
I mean, but
nobody said she was not looking good.
That's right.
He just said,
yeah,
G.I. Jane too.
Exactly.
Which Demi Moore was beautiful without her hair.
Demi Moore, Amber Rose. There's
Jada's
beautiful women.
Beautiful without her hair. I had no idea why she had cut her hair, because I don't listen to Red Table Talk, because I don't really feel it, because of the way they do put their personal business out there, and they're a married couple and a family.
Yeah.
So I don't listen to it. I would have never known. But I know one thing, her hairstyle, which, she chose to have a shaved head, I saw nothing wrong with it. She's beautiful.
The thing about it is, no matter how beautiful you are, your actions will overpower your beauty, because she was stunning. You know what I mean? They both were very stunning that night. And it's just like their behavior, it overshadowed everything.
I don't remember any of the Oscars except for that
Matter of fact, this was best film.
It was.
We can call the movie When Will Smacked Chris.
Yeah.
That was the best film of the Oscars.
I don't remember anything that happened before or after.
And it's a shame.
Because Questlove got an Oscar.
Yeah, nobody remembers anything about that. And that's our own sabotage, because that was the first night that it was directed by all black staff for the Oscars. And that was supposed to be the forefront. So we sabotaged ourselves with our behavior. And our behavior is the issue with white people. I mean, and they use our street behavior to give themselves credibility. But at the same time, they don't invite it into, they don't invite it into their life. But when they want to have street cred, they will associate themselves with our street ways. But when our street ways come into their formal realm, it's not presentable. And we should be ashamed of ourselves. Thank God.
Because you should know where to behave.
Yeah.
And how.
Yes.
You should know that as an adult.
Yeah.
Should I have attacked someone physically at the Oscars? No.
And then how Chris leaned into it, because I think Chris thought maybe he was going to say something. And then,
tell.
And he just slapped me like that.
Tell.
It's just a shame that it happened that way. And the way the way Chris conducted himself after that
I
is
commend
made
him.
him a hero. When Jada could have been the hero if she conducted herself like that.
If she would
Everybody,
have stopped him
yeah,
from going
no. If
on
she
the
would have just took the
stage.
joke with grace,
Well,
if she
that's
would have
not
took the
her.
joke with grace,
Yeah, that's
we
not
could have
her.
looked at Chris like, "Wow, Chris, why you gotta say that?" You know what I mean? But no, she had to
She could have
use.
waved her
She
hand,
had to use
laughed.
Will like security. You know what I mean? Gave him a little
The
signal and he
side
went up
eye,
there.
yeah.
And it's a shame that it happened that way. But when you look at it astrologically, and I'm going by their Vedic sidereal signs, which is the actual sign, not the commercial sign of Western
Of
astrology.
dates, right.
Yeah, of dates. So like they're both Virgos. Will is known in the Western zodiac as to be a Libra, but he's actually a Virgo, and she's actually a Virgo. Okay, so when you have two people in the same energy, that energy is just as strong. Nobody is going to submit right there.
Oh.
Okay, so when you have two people in the same
So
energy,
why were they attracted to each other? Because of that?
well, that can be a reason why you're attracted because
Okay.
you're the same. Like
Right.
it's easy, it feels the
Okay.
same. But when there's a disagreement, what you have to do is to agree to disagree.
And they don't.
They don't agree to disagree. So every time Will comes, Will doesn't put his personal business out there, but when his personal business out there is because he's answering what has been put out
By
there.
someone else.
Yeah,
and most
just like,
times her.
Yeah, when he came to the red table was in response to what was out there. He didn't put it out there. It was in response.
Which is It's
so when
sad.
I'm gonna post our listeners here. I'm gonna post their after we record the show. I'm gonna post their astrological traits, and you will see the dynamics that you're dealing with. So they're both sun signs that are both Virgo, okay? But
Right.
then where the rest of it comes in, their moon and their Mercury, moon, your emotions, Mercury, your communication, Jada trumps him. She's Leo in those two places, where Will is Libra in those two places.
More laid back.
So like when it comes to Libra doesn't like confrontation.
So he'll step back.
Yeah, Libra likes to balance things. Okay, so he's struggling to keep everything balanced. You know what I mean? And that's where his pain is coming from. And at one point when he was at the red table, he said there was a point that was so low he once considered suicide over their marriage.
What?
Over their marriage.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just like, he said, that's the only time I ever considered suicide, but he got over it. I'm just like, yo.
Oh my
When it comes to a cardinal
he
sign.
He loves her that way.
Yeah. When it comes to a cardinal sign, please believe they will do something physical.
That's
They
horrible.
will either hurt themselves physically or somebody else physically
That's
when it comes
so
to a cardinal sign.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's just like, keep Will in your prayers, because like I always say,
we should. Yeah.
Everybody is flawed. We need to magnify and focus on the goodness of the person and not throw away the baby with the bathwater.
That's what I said. Everybody's condemning him to the point. I mean, we're talking about what happened, but we're not saying, oh my goodness, he's over. It's over, his whole career. Yeah. I'm hearing people saying, oh my goodness, his career is over. He really messed up. And I'm like, so no one's allowed to make mistakes? Like, are you serious? Yeah. Who is perfect in this world?
So if you can, like, I put in your DM. If you can look at Jada's traits, like,
we're gonna look at
tell me so I showed you because the way we have everything set up here. I'm not looking
here.
But her dominant sign, if you look at her chart there, we can both look at it.
I can't open it. I opened it too many times. You open it up. Yeah.
Well,
you already know. You already know. Isn't that horrible? This is Instagram. So if I open it more than once,
you can't slide it. Like,
I can't open it again.
Oh well, you can close it. Like, you know what? Swipe out and like reopen it.
Yeah. That's not fair.
But it was. I was looking at her elements. Her elements, and her modalities. The elements are earth, air, fire, and water. She's equally fire and earth. Okay, and her modality is dominated by mutable. Mutable is like a chameleon, and mutable likes to be of service of people, which makes her as much a Sagittarian as much as a Virgo. She's equally balanced between the earth, which is passion and spiritual experience, and like the physical experience. So since she's dominated by mutable, liberty is like what is most important to all mutable signs. Like having our freedom to like explore and be not controlled or owned by anybody. We just want our own freedom.
Is that what
So
she was even talking about at the red table? Like she needs
I'm going by her behavior. Like I don't really watch the red table or not.
No, I mean for that one incident we were talking about with the August of
Oh yeah.
Like that.
It bleeds into everything.
She was saying she needs, her freedom.
Yeah, it bleeds into everything. It bleeds into like your employment, your relationships, and everything. You just want freedom to be able to investigate anything you're interested in.
Yes.
You don't want to be restricted in anything you're attracted to. And it happens that way in relationships too, especially with Sagittarian. I see it more in Sagittarian traits in women because women, like, guys are expected to want to explore their options, but women are like condemned for wanting
if they do it.
If they want to,
if they do the
so
same
like
thing.
It's more obvious in a woman's nature when you look at somebody like man, what's her name again? I forgot her name. Her husband's name is Sydney. Remember what's her name? She was on the Parkers.
What, Monique?
Monique. Monique's a Sagittarius. And she has an open marriage.
Oh.
She wants that liberty. Now, that's not saying, and Jay and Will, they have an open marriage. They're both mutable signs. They're both Virgos. They want that option to explore any attraction they have. Not necessarily saying that they want that. They don't want to be restricted from doing that.
Right.
So it's not saying that they don't want to be faithful, but they don't want to be restricted from being unfaithful. You know what I mean? They want to be faithful to themselves.
Yeah, they don't want someone to tell them not to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
They want that freedom to say, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
And even if they don't do it.
Yeah.
Just unfortunately, she did do it.
Yes.
I don't know.
So all mutable signs, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, all want that freedom to explore.
Right.
The liberty to explore whatever they are attracted to.
Don't put any limits.
Yeah, they don't want any limitations, and that is what we're seeing the most in her behavior. That she doesn't want any limitations.
Can she change that? I don't think so.
The only way you can change those things are by your own personal values. Your personal values as a human being is supposed to supersede your primal instinct.
So what we're talking about is she is who she is.
Yeah. So like that's what sets us apart. That's what sets us apart from animals, is that we are a living spirit who is able to create. Animals are subjective to their primal nature. They have no choice.
They're even learning though.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of these cats and dogs? Like they're actually learning to be affectionate and caring and loving.
Yeah,
like,
because
it's just amazing how they've evolved.
They reflect us.
There you go.
They reflect what we teach them.
That is exactly what it is.
Yeah, but like as higher beings,
right?
As humans,
we are. Yeah,
we have the ability. We have consciousness, and our consciousness is supposed to supersede our primal biological behavior,
except
our
for
astrological.
What?
Except for what? Except
some
for
people.
Except for us ignoring it. Except for us ignoring it. I mean, that's the difference. That's the difference of like spirituality and being like an atheist per se.
Yeah, you don't have that.
Like,
right.
An atheist, a person who doesn't believe in God, is not accountable to anybody else. Yeah, it's like you're not accountable to anybody else but yourself if you're an atheist. If you're a spiritual person, you're accountable to your deity or God who says, I require this behavior of you.
Right.
Okay, so...
Which keeps you from doing harmful things.
Which keeps you respecting the rest of humanity. You want to respect... That's what the Ten Commandments are about. Respecting the rest of your community. Don't covet your neighbor's property. Don't kill somebody. Don't cheat. All that kind of stuff. It's the respect of the God that's in you. Because we all have God in us. So we're trying to respect. That's why Jesus says, when you do this to somebody, you've done it to me. If you fed somebody starving, you fed me.
We're all one.
Yeah, we're all one. That God's spirit in us is all equal. It's all God. That's why if you see an animal, if you see roadkill, that's not a murder reported, because that animal doesn't have the spirit of God within them. Okay, God did not, if you're a Christian, you believe in Christ's sacrifice on the cross. Christ didn't sacrifice his life for animals.
Right.
He
It's
did it for
us.
humanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you look at like the primal instinct, you can see in our zodiac signs, the primal way, the basic format of the way our personality came before it experienced everything and shaped. Like we are shaped through our personality. Like as we experience things, that's how we're shaped. So it's just like, I live, from my perspective as a Sagittarius, I live from an idealistic point of view. I live from an idealistic point of view, and my ideas and the way I see things are formed by what I think should be. It's called theoretic. It's theories, like what should
And
be.
it's your theory.
Yeah, it's my theory of what happiness is. So that's what I strive. Yeah, and that's what I strive for. Intellectual sign person, which is intellectual, they're more systematic. So it's just like it's more mathematical. That's why.
I do this,
yeah,
this will...
that's why Will is so. That's why they stay married to each other, because they've agreed. They're in a marriage. So that's systematic. It's just like we're in this system and we're going to stay in this system. Stick it out. Yeah, we're going to stay in this system despite what we've done to each other, because that's what makes sense. Okay? And then you have an emotional type people who live in the energy of the moment. The energy of the moment is like they're just experiencing life, and everything comes and they accept everything. Like, so an emotional sign person can have a schedule and totally forget their schedule because they're living in the moment, as opposed to like somebody who's like an intellectual, like
they wouldn't veer off.
Yeah, they wouldn't veer off. And then a theoretical sign person, you can talk them out of their ideas if the idea you're presenting to them is better than their idea. Right. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
seems like theoretical sounds like a better way to go.
Theoreticals can,
because at least you can change.
It's got to be something
what makes sense.
All of us have our downfalls according to that each of our mindsets. You know what I mean? Like a theoretical person will have an idea and they will not let that go. An intellectual person will have a format and you cannot talk them out of nothing that does not make sense to them.
Yeah,
that's like you can't. You see what I'm saying? And an emotional sign person,
that's totally
emotional sign person. You can get them to agree to something until something else comes on, and then it's just
they're off to the next thing.
Yeah, so it's just like all the mindsets have their own downfalls, and they also have their own strengths. But Will and Jada are trapped within their logical agreement
of marriage,
and they're trying to fit
everything
who they
else
are into that. You know what I mean?
But
and
it's really wrong with it, though.
It's spilling out.
I guess there's nothing wrong with that, though, if you're willing to change as you grow. I mean, you should commit if you made that commitment.
Well, the problem with...
Without abuse, of course.
The problem with the way Jada presents her Red Table Talks is that she has transcended her problems and she has grown. But she's
grown, but
she actually hasn't, because her problems are still...
transcend. I don't know.
Her problems are still the focus of her life. Like, she presents them as though she's figured out answers, but she hasn't. Like, she's not learning from her experiences.
Past. Right.
You know what I mean? It's not making her... She's indulging in herself. That's what she's doing. She's indulging in herself. You know what I mean? And it's sad because I did not see this. I saw this on YouTube, somebody else's show.
What?
That she had... Willow wrote a note, a letter. I sent it. She wrote a letter to Tupac, wishing Tupac was here, expressing her mother's loyalty to Tupac over her own father.
The daughter.
Yes, and she wasn't even alive at the time that Tupac was alive.
She didn't know him.
Yeah, she didn't know him.
Which means the mother is talking about him.
Now, here's the thing. Like, as being a Virgo, you know what I mean? Virgo, the leading planet, the ruling planet of Virgo is Mercury. And what is Mercury known for in Greek mythology? Who was Mercury? He was the messenger. The messenger. So it's just like, that's what she's doing. Like, she's delivering these messages without any discretion. Like, you need to have discretion over
on.
what you deliver.
I know.
You know what I mean? So it's like Virgo pays attention to certain details. Usually Virgo pays attention to physical details, and Gemini is the one that is the gossiper, the news, the messenger of news, of information. You know what I mean? But she's allowed that ability of being a messenger to like fester her whole life. It's just like, you should be, I'm not going to tell you what you should be doing, but as an actress, why aren't you focusing more on your acting career instead of making your family
the center
of your attention? Because it's at the cost of their own privacy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
She's not being a nurturer
at all.
Right. I know what you're saying, because you should focus on your family if you're a nurturer.
The mother is supposed to protect the integrity of the family. Your mother is the one that teaches you the values and what you should and should not do and all that kind of stuff. But she's just totally destroyed the values of that family.
Yeah.
With trying to be liberal and expecting, having no boundaries. And that's the problem sometimes with us mutable signs, is we don't have any boundaries. And like, then when we violate other people's boundaries, that's when, somebody's offended. It's just like, you got to have boundaries for protection. And we have to learn that sometimes. Pisces, Gemini, Sag, and Virgo can be caught in relationships that they didn't intend to be in because we don't have any boundaries. We're so accepting. Right. We're so accepting, and we're always helping that, like, we transcend, we cross those boundaries without intending,
Right.
So, but her being an earth sign, being a Virgo, earth is into organization and being organized and structured, but it's like that still didn't protect, the things that her family, and she needs to be she wants protection of herself, but why you wanted Will to protect you, but where are you protecting your family? You know what I mean? Where are you protecting your family?
I wish people would stop saying Will was protecting her like Chris hit her or Chris was lunging at her. He said one thing, and that did not warrant a attack, physical. I mean, they keep saying he was protecting his wife. Nobody lunged at her. Nobody hit her. I mean,
but
let's put it in the right context, though. He could have said something to him, but to actually physically attack when there was no physical attack on him or her.
Well, who does he have to live up to, though? He has to live up to Tupac.
Yeah, I know.
That's her. That's her.
He knows it.
Yeah. Now I guess she felt like, you know what, Tupac's gone. I'll still rap. I'll marry somebody who still, Will was a rapper. Yeah, you know what I mean? But
he's got more going on.
Yeah.
Too.
And when you think about...
But he wanted her. She didn't seek him. Remember, Will chose her. He wanted to marry her before he even married his first wife. He wanted to meet her.
That's right. I forgot that story.
So he wanted her.
Yeah.
She didn't choose him.
And you know what? At the time, Will was bigger than her.
Oh, definitely. So he had already done Independence Day.
Sometimes, women can be put in a position of self-seeking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was seeking her own security and like her,
right, because her career wasn't
she felt valued.
Stellar.
Yeah, she felt valued because of his attention.
Right.
And she fell into that, but it's like.
So now they're together, and it's many, many years. So let's forget about the beginnings. They're together, they have children, they have a family. But, for Willow to have
acknowledge
Tupac in a marriage that her parents are in. Like, I don't get that unless she got it from somewhere.
Well, you think about it though, because there's a book out that I posted on my Instagram, and it's called Words Become Flesh. And
really,
yeah, words become flesh.
Now,
it speaks about that in the Bible.
Tongue.
Yeah,
the power of the tongue.
The power of the tongue, and it's just like, when you think about why Tupac's not here, why Biggie's not here, What was the
They
downfall?
both spoke it.
Their words became flesh.
I
They
know.
spoke violence towards each other.
Yeah, but Biggie even predicted his death.
Yeah, words become flesh, and it's just like, we need to be more careful, more productive, and supportive over the things we say. So words became flesh because look, even with Chris Rock on the stage in Aquarius, his words became flesh right there at that moment. At that moment, he suffered the consequences of his words right then in that moment.
Not later.
Not later, right then. It's like, so the words that we're casting out at each other, we really need to be conscious
Very careful.
You know what I mean? Because, that's the whole mantra of law, the justice. Everything you say and do will be used against you. You know what I mean? And who came against him in a Western way, the zodiac? It was a Libra, the scales. What is the scales known for? Justice. So justice was served in that moment for Jada because she felt attacked emotionally. And it's just like, it was acted out. The justice was served for everything Will's been holding in. You know what I mean?
It came out.
Yeah. All the behavior he's been,
get some
everything he's been putting up with. You know what I mean? The humiliation as a husband, no matter how high he tries to ascend, it's always his marriage that is embarrassing him.
Always.
You know what I mean? And so that night, that was it.
Well, that being said, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll finish this, but we'll talk about some other things too, because I know you have other topics that you wanted to hit as well. But this is good. So everyone, stay with us. Enjoy the music.
This is the Supreme Team, and we'll be back right after this.
Yes, we will.